Okay, boy. Now this is going to be. I know we're talking a lot about China, and it just kind of worked out that way. I submit 2 stories. Rob submits 2 stories, but there's a lot going on, and this is a separate issue regarding China. And what I'm going to cover in this segment is good. I'm going to go out on the limb a little bit, and I'm going to make a prediction at the end of this story that I think I'm right about. And I want you to pay attention. So this is a brand new news story out of Zero Hedge, and I'm going to do a screen share and show you the article, and then we will talk about it. All right. I think everyone can see this. All right. This is out of Zero Hedge today. Xi and Zelensky hold long and meaningful call in first since the war began. Chinese President Xi and Ukrainian President Zelensky have held a phone call Wednesday, which is the first time the two leaders have spoken since the start of the Russian-Ukraine war. Zelensky confirmed the long and meaningful conversation in a statement saying, "I have a long and meaningful phone call with Chinese President Xi. I believe that this call, as well as the appointment of Ukraine's ambassador to China, will give powerful impetus to the development of our bilateral relations." There has long been a Chinese embassy and consulates in Ukraine, but it appears both sides want a fresh start in relations. It's further been reported that they agreed that China would send a special representative to Ukraine to hold talks with all parties resolving the crisis. During the call, references were made to the possibility of future negotiations. Beijing has been putting itself forth as a possible mediator, giving Xi's 12-point peace plan published in late February, but has yet to gain traction either with Moscow or Kiev, according to more from the Bloomberg, based on a call readout statement from both parties. And it goes through some of the points here. Additionally, the timing of the phone call is a likely attempt to smooth over relations after Beijing's ambassador to France, Liu Xie, sparked. Okay, and this is kind of unimportant. And if you see at the bottom right here, we have a picture of Rob Bruss hunting last week in the backwoods of Australia. All right, now that's the end of the share. Stop sharing. Okay, so here we go. China lately has been playing the role of peacekeeper throughout the world. I mean, he negotiated peace talks with Iran and Saudi Arabia. They've been playing the role of peacemaker, and they've been going around the world through their Belt and Road Initiative, like in Africa. We're going to build you a lot of infrastructure. So China has been diplomatically making relationships with countries around the world, where at the same time we have been, we've been kind of a bully, us being, America. And now he goes to Ukraine and he goes to Zelensky and saying things like, "Hey, you know what? I happen to have a pretty good friend in Russia that I can probably talk to for you on your behalf. And you know what? We'll build some roads for you. We'll build your infrastructure. And I'll get you all set up, all straightened up." And listen, I don't know how you feel about this, Rob, but I personally feel that these Ukrainians, Zelensky and his close group of people around him, it's all about the money. And my prediction is, I think that China could end up joining the BRICS alliance. And
Ukraine, you mean?
What is it? Yeah. Ukraine could end up joining the BRICS alliance. Can you imagine the heads exploding at the Pentagon and the State Department?
That's that emoji, it's a nuclear bomb going off in their head. That is that's John Kirby.
Yeah. What the hell? We just spent all this money, helping you to take down Putin, and you're gonna join, Xi?
What the hell?
But I could see it happening. And talking about, that'd be one of the biggest, foreign policy embarrassments in U.S. history.
I agree. But you know what? The war has to stop, man. Once again, looking at my Telegram channel yesterday while I'm just chilling out in the evening, watching a bit of Netflix, and seeing I was watching this thing called The Spanish Queen. and it's about Henry VIII who marries the Spanish princess and all of this stuff. And I said to my missus as I was watching it, I was waiting for all the medieval brutality to come out because we're sort of 6 episodes in and nothing really bad had happened. It was more of a drama than anything. And then all of a sudden, all of the medieval nastiness came out. And I said, we were watching and there was like there's an execution or something like that on TV, you know, because that's good stuff to watch for you. Then she goes, oh man, that's so brutal. And I said, you don't want to look at my phone, what I'm looking at, because it's way more brutal than that.
Right.
You know, human beings have been killing each other for thousands of years and nothing will really change in the future. And it has to stop.
Yeah.
Whether Xi Jinping stops it or, you know, the president of Venezuela stops it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Either way, it's got to stop. And at some point, the only way that it will stop is with a negotiation or a capitulation. But I don't think the Ukrainians are going to capitulate because they have all of NATO and all of us behind them. So they're never going to capitulate. And that's the problem that we're facing, is that this is going to be perpetuated potentially for years because NATO is said, we're going to support you for as long as it takes. And if you want to end the war, you end it on your terms, not on our terms. But listen, I don't think it's going to end like that.
I could actually see Ukraine's point of view on that, and I would actually kind of defend it. Here we have America whispering in their ears, don't you dare negotiate. We snubbed efforts for negotiations. We said, no, we don't want you to negotiate. Well, you know, that's easy for us to say. You know, we're not losing our citizens left and right in brutal, you know, conflict. It's easy for us to say. But then China comes along and they find a creative solution to end the war. I don't know, part of me says, you know, good on you.
The creative solution might be
creative solution.
If you don't sit down at the table and give up the land that you've got, I'm going to send 400 battalions across the border to support the Russians, and that'll be the end of you for good. You know, that's where it potentially could go. You just don't know with these negotiations. You know, the Chinese pretend to be these diplomats and they pretend to be all nice and caring about everything, but history proves that they're the actual opposite of what they say. So you look at these communists and you say, okay, that's how they want it to be. Fair enough. And their diplomatic doublespeak is actually really good. And why wouldn't I want to actually be with them? And the reason why I don't want to listen to them and don't want to perpetuate what they're saying is because history proves that they do the actual opposite of what it is that they say they're going to do. They're liars. They're liars of the highest order, and they're cheats of the highest order, and they're thieves. And my next little presentation is about that lying and theft as well. So do you want to close out your thought there, Ed? And then we'll go to the last segment of the show.
So that is my prediction. Actually, I put it at like probably a 60% probability. It's not in the cards, but I could certainly see Zelensky and Ukraine joining the BRICS nation. And that's create a whole lot of interesting scenarios geopolitically. So we'll have to stay tuned on that. And I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall at the Pentagon and the White House with all this news coming out. And, anyway, so that's, so Rob, there's another, I think it is a good segue into your segments. Why don't you take it away for us?
I want to see the head exploding in the Pentagon. I think that's...
Give me all your time tonight. Promise I'ma make it right. We don't gotta talk too much. Just sit back, enjoy the ride.